Yes, I know it's been a long time since I've done a Vagabond review. This is Volume 2, VizBig Edition, so I'm guessing this contains Volumes 4, 5, and 6 inside of it. So, if you have the single edition volumes, I guess reads Volume 4, 5, and 6 if you've yet to read them if you want to keep up to date with me. So, yeah, let me do a brief, quick overview of why I haven't reviewed Vagabond. If you don't know why I haven't reviewed it in the past couple weeks, I got a copyright strike about a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't able to upload videos over 15 minutes long, and so it kind of stopped me from really going in-depth with my reviews, and since Vagabond has so much content, like, look at all that content inside of it, of course I'm going to go over 15 minutes, and I don't want to be constrained to under 15-minute reviews, because especially when it comes to series like Vagabond or Berserk or something, I really want to dive into some things and talk about a lot of the different elements that the volumes brought up. And so, yeah, that's a quick overview of why Vagabond has kind of been on hold. I did not drop it. It's not because I didn't like the series. I just put it on hold because of the copyright strike. Since it's been gone, I'm finally starting up the Vagabond review. So, I just finished this volume last night, and I just reread it again this morning, just to look at all the paneling, get a refresh, and all that type of stuff. And there's one thing I do want to point out right quick. This quote right here, I'm going to quote for quote right now, is probably one of my favorite lines so far in Vagabond. Preoccupied with a single leaf, you won't see the tree. Preoccupied with a single tree, you'll miss the entire forest. Don't be preoccupied with a single spot. See everything in its entirety, effortlessly. That's right there. That is such a beautiful, beautiful line. So much great quotes right there. Like, that quote is fucking nice. Like, the main point you can pull out of that dialogue from what you can get from this volume is that if you focus too hard on one point, one aspect, you don't get the entire picture. You don't get the entire viewpoint. Like, if I was, let's say, focus in on the eyes, okay, of a person. I look at the eyes of the person, and I just look at that. It's like I'm looking preoccupied with one point of this person. I'm not looking at the entirety of their being and what makes them them. And so to see that, I like how this volume really tried to go in depth with that. Like, don't, look at one thing on a person or different things. You need to look at the grand picture of what is going on. And that's kind of what the main theme or concept of this volume is. Our main male character, Musashi Miyamoto, he is trying to figure out how to overcome his fear. And the thing was, in this volume, it was like his first taste at fear. Like, throughout the majority of the beginning of this volume and until he got his ass whooped, in the first volume, VizBig Edition, Musashi, he was a man that was boastful. He had a lot of pride, and he really didn't know fear. He thought he was ready to die. That's how he always felt, and that's how he acted in the first volume. I remember specifically in the first volume, he acted like that. He was ready to die, he would die, he's fine with it. But in this volume, he learned some life lessons that he wasn't ready to die. Like, he was not prepared to die. He could not face that, and in the act of being scared and having great fear, he ran away from his opponent, Hosen. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. He ran away from him, and he realized he was not ready to die, and he needs to train so much more to become invincible under the sun. And that really makes me admire this series a lot more, because from what we can already see in the second VizBig volume, our main male character has already tasted defeat. He has tasted defeat. He knows what it feels like. And that right there is a great stepping stone for his character development and how he is going to progress as our main central character of the series. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to take him as a swordsman. So, the more I look at the series, I went back to read Volume 1, 2 to refresh my mind, since it's been a while since I've actually seen Vagabond, because I've been taking a break from it because, the copyright strike. I went back, I read Volume 1, and then read this again. The more I look at this series, the more it just looks like it's a biography on the life of Musashi. That's what this looks like. That's exactly what this looks like. It looks like a biography. Whoa, almost fucked up there. A biography of Musashi trying to become a swordsman. And that is what, so far, what I could see from this volume. That's what this volume and the last volume is trying to show. Him trying to progress as a warrior to be able to become stronger and become a master swordsman. And I like the concept of this series. It's very realistic. Like, he's going from town to town, and this is like the first town he's really been at besides the other school, Yoshioka school. This is the second town he's been in, kind of, and he has his first challenge to where he tastes defeat. And his main lesson he needs to pull out of this is how to look at the grand picture of his opponents. And he needed to know what true fear was to be able to understand and how to manipulate and use fear to win his future battles. See, the thing is, you can't be a good warrior, a good fighter, or a good master swordsman if you do not know the taste of fear. That is a concept you see constantly in manga and anime. I've seen it throughout the majority of series I have watched or read that bring up a lot of these type of themes when it comes to fighting or something like that. You cannot be a good warrior if you do not know the taste of fear, if you do not know the meaning of fear or what it feels like. And since Musashi finally felt this, like I said, is going to be the main central pillars to support his character throughout the entirety of this series. But the thing was, too, also that which took me by surprise when it came to Musashi's development, the other opponent, Hosen, that was fighting Musashi in this volume, he was also getting development. And that shocked me. I was so surprised to see how both sides were equally getting really good development. And it makes me wonder if Hosen is going to become one of the main important support or side characters throughout the entirety of Vagabond. Because in this volume, you come to find out that this dude, Hosen, that is the leader or the master of this school, Hosen School, whatever it's called, he's like the leader of the school. And as you know, Musashi was challenging him. The thing is this dude is a prodigy. He's very intelligent. He's a genius at fighting. He's like a master swordsman. You can consider him as a master swordsman that is a fucking genius, and he always wins. And that, it leads into what's the problem here. As you have it, his father is actually letting him know, or doesn't let him know, he tells Musashi that he is a great warrior. He is intelligent, he has great skills with the spear, and he is a master at what he does. But he has a fatal flaw. He doesn't know fear. And so you have it to where the father of Hosen is telling him, you need to teach him what true fear is. He needs to know that, because he needs to know the taste of defeat and fear to be able to grow as a warrior. And that's also another thing that is taking place in this volume. Besides Musashi trying to overcome these issues, that the same thing that Hosen is trying to overcome too, but which he's unaware of. So you have to where these two characters, Hosen and Musashi, are trying to confront these two different issues they face that are pretty much similar, but in different ways. And I like that so much, how the mangaka of this series is taking the time to actually dive into these two characters and have like counter character development, where the reflection of Musashi's development is also reflecting on top of Hosen as a character and showing his development of what he's going through in this volume. And so that's what I really pulled out when I was reading this volume, just that main central development. Now, that's not even getting into the tip of the iceberg when it comes into the artwork, to the fighting, to the panel work, to the godlike artwork. Oh my god, that godlike artwork. And then also getting into some of the ending segments with Matahachi, Sasaki, and then the beginning of how our main male character, Musashi, is starting to realize he has a growing love for Otsu, and that is probably going to lead into something in the future, which has been very obvious since the end of the first VizBig volume, that Musashi was growing some form of attachment to her, and she was like the only person that could really stop him from going berserk and killing even more people. So yeah, this relationship is also building up on the side, and it makes me wonder what is going to happen to that. Like, is that relationship or romance going to progress, or is that just going to be a dead-end road? A lot of questions I have when it comes to that, because you have to remember Musashi, he is thinking about her, and it's distracting him. He realizes it's distracting him. And even the monk that was following him on the road realized this. Gave that great quote I said at the beginning of this video, by the way. He noticed this and says, like, I can even cut you down since you're so distracted by Otsu. And so it goes to show you that he's also being, I guess, overcame with lust for this woman. And that's also probably going to be a main point of development for his character, too. He has to overcome all these different desires of man. That's why I see that Musashi's trying to do in this volume. He's trying to overcome fear, he's trying to overcome defeat, he's trying to overcome lust, he's trying to overcome, you know, being a coward. Just so many different things throughout this volume that he's trying to overcome to become better as a person. And that really goes to show you how great of a character he is, to even realize in the volume, at the final parts of this volume, let me find it. That right there is fucking amazing. I am strong. Was I just fooling myself? That right there is just such a good realization for Musashi as a character, to realize he had this ambition, he had this pride about him, and he always thought he was strong, he always thought he was invincible, he always thought he could overcome his opponent with brute strength, and he is a strong warrior. We cannot count Musashi out for that. But to see how he was willing to accept that he might have been fooling himself and realize that he is not as strong as he thought he was, and he is now conflicted with the thought of loss and defeat, it shows you how good of a character he is to even accept and actually contemplate some of these thoughts. And I'm loving those inner monologues with Musashi as a character, how he thinks inside of his mind and what he's truly thinking about the outcome of the battle, what he's trying to do. And that's what the volume really goes to highlight. So I don't feel like I need to go any more into that when it comes to the symbolism to the development of Musashi and Hosen as a character. That was kind of the main point of this volume. That really was the main concept of this volume. What it was trying to display was just those two's developments, along with Matahachi towards the end of the volume, which I need to get into. So, Matahachi. Okay, now, as I said in my first Vagabond volume review, okay? I'm sorry, at the moment, I don't know if Matahachi is going to become a very good character. I want to assume he is, judging by what I saw at the end of the volume of this volume. But still, Matahachi is such a crusty bastard. He's, oh my god. Like, in this volume, he steals this dude's name. He steals this dude's money, his name, his diploma, kind of how he trained, was a disciple. And he stole this dude's name and took the name upon himself and called himself Sasaki. I'm like, you fucking little shitface. Like, that right there is so disgusting, how Matahachi did something like that and stole that dude's name. And I've seen this done before in other anime and manga, so it's nothing new I haven't seen before. It's just so sickening to see that this most likely is the truth when it comes to history, because I do know that the mangaka of this series, the mangaka's name is Takehiko. Takehiko is a mangaka that loves using realistic elements from ancient days of Japan, especially when it comes to Vagabond, so I'm willing to assume that Matahachi at one point or time did, in fact, stole Sasaki's name. I wonder if it was exactly similar, but regardless of that, he steals this dude's name, and he gets robbed. And this person wants to steal the name back and become the third Sasaki, but at the end of things, you have it to where Matahachi, or Sasaki, he actually fights back and kills the dude. And this actually leads into some very interesting development that I do have to point out. Even though I called him a shitface and I called him a bastard, I have to admit, I noticed something very funny about the ending part of this volume. Like, what was really interesting, like right here, let me show you the paneling. This paneling right here, like his face, his stone cold face, it made me really intrigued, because when I started thinking about the main concept of this volume, like this volume's main concept, as we know, was, you know, Musashi trying to overcome fear, or, you know, figure out how to overcome his defeat and learn the pain of defeat. That's kind of what this, you know, volume was about. And at the end of the volume, Matahachi, throughout the entirety of the first time we were introduced to him, he was a coward. He's a coward, he has a lot of fear, he ran away from when his friend was being attacked and he thought he died. So Matahachi as a character has always known fear. He's always known fear. He knows how it feels to be defeated. And it's very odd how he does already know these elements that Musashi just learnt in this volume. So that right there, I like that. I feel like the way the mangaka took that was trying to let us know that Matahachi, since he has known the pain of defeat and loss and being a coward and fear, he is going to progress into something very strong in the future, because he realizes even though he had this great fear, he was a coward, he was weak, he knows the pain of defeat, he was able to kind of fight Musashi when he was younger. And that goes to show you his skill level. So if he can learn to harness this fear and his pain of defeat that he has learned through majority of his entire life, he will become someone that is to be reckoned with. So Matahachi's starting to begin his development when it comes to his character at the end of this volume, and it makes me wonder, is he going to take down a similar path to when it comes down to what is currently going on with Musashi? Because Musashi finally just felt the taste of fear and defeat, and Matahachi, he's known it for years. So yeah, clearly, if Matahachi starts going down that path of becoming a great swordsman, he's probably going to be even more skillful than Musashi. So, yeah, I need to point that out. So, I think that's enough when it comes to the plot of this volume. The next thing I want to talk about is the godlike artwork. Like this right here, I'm loving these color pages, man. These color pages are the fucking shit. Oh my god, man. Yeah, I am a big sucker for artwork. I really am. I love my fucking artwork in anime or manga. And some of this artwork is just so damn godlike. The character expressions look so lively. I mean, it looks so realistic. I pointed out in my, first volume review, like, look at this artwork right here. This artwork is fucking ridiculous. I don't know if you can make it out as well as I can, but look at that artwork on those panels. The paneling work of this is so damn good. It's just so good, man. Like that. Look at the old man right there. Look at that. Look at the expression of the old man. He has the wrinkles and all that. I mean, just the way that is drawn, the amount of quality that is put into this series is beautiful. It's so beautiful. You do not see that so often anymore, and it's rare to see quality of artwork when it comes to character designs. Like I said in my first volume, the character designs look so real. Like, usually when you're reading a manga, the character designs look adapted to the standard generalization of manga, what we're used to. But Vagabond goes down a path where it doesn't go down the standard art style of the standard manga. It goes down a realistic path with its character designs that look, oddly enough, like true Asians. And usually when you're reading a manga, a lot of the characters don't always look Asian, so to say. They don't. I mean, let's be real here. And so to see how this manga goes down the path of actually just designing characters that look so realistic, I love that. I'm a big sucker for that. I'm loving the different type of art style when it comes to series compared to all the other stuff I have read. I have to admit one thing, when it comes to the artwork, or the character designs in general, not the backgrounds, but the character designs, I gotta admit, it's already competing with Berserk. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, the designs of these characters, man, is already on Berserk's level, on volume freaking 37 up there. The designs of these characters are already on that, and I'm scared. I'm so scared to get to, like, the volume 12 behind me and see how that artwork is gonna look. Because if the artwork already looks this damn good, and I'm already just, I guess 6 volumes in, since, this is a VizBig, I don't even want to begin to imagine how the artwork looks later on. Like, oh my god, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be so fucking beautiful. Now, don't get me wrong, the backgrounds look so damn good, too. Like, look at the background there. Look at that beautiful background, that color background. That looks so damn good. See, volume 6 right there, so yeah, that's how I know it's volume 6. But the backgrounds look so good. Yeah, right there, perfect example of background. Right there, look at that background. That is a fucking good background. So, the manga knows how to do backgrounds, it just, still, his strong point is definitely his characters, but you can tell that the mangaka is trying to improve his backgrounds when it comes to Vagabond, and I am loving that so much. He has this atmosphere about it that feels like Japan. Like, the atmosphere of this manga really does feel like ancient, day Japan. That's how it feels like, and I'm a sucker for that. I really am. So, besides that, when it comes to my impressions of this volume, okay, of Vagabond, I gotta admit that this is a way better series than I thought it would have been. Like, my god, I've heard a lot of Chibits in the past say that this is comparable with Berserk. Like, it's on par with Berserk in certain ways. Now, give or choose, it comes down to taste among an anime, and I don't know yet if this is on the level of Berserk, because it's going to be hard to beat what happened in Volume 13 of Berserk, and then Volume 27, and then what happened in Volume 34. It's going to be hard to beat those volumes of Berserk. It's going to be hard to do that. But I'm not saying that there's nothing out there that can beat Berserk, because I haven't read everything. So I do really, really hope that Vagabond continues to surprise me with every single chapter I read in the near future, because it's already shaping up to be a very good series with a very good main male character that's becoming a very great protagonist I'm enjoying watching grow as a character. And, oh yes, I forgot to mention one thing, which I know I'm going to be butchered if I don't mention it. Also, Musashi has taken upon an apprentice at the beginning of this volume, and this apprentice, I guess, deserts him, because, you know, Musashi was a coward and ran away from his fight. But Musashi had an apprentice for a little while, so I don't know if the apprentice is going to come back or not, but he did have an apprentice, so I wonder how it's going to go. If he does have an apprentice, that's definitely going to change the ballgame of the series even further, too. It shocked me when I was reading this volume how he had an apprentice, because that's going to change a lot of things. Can't wait to see the development. So, anyways, I want to end this volume review here. You all have a wonderful day or not wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.